Cool, cool, cool. All right, people. I think say we're back online now. Yeah, that was a bit of a mad one. What happened? Little technical difficulty. All right, it looks like we're back online. Oh, hold on. Okay, cool. Oh, here we go. Sorry, let me just stop this. Okay. Oh, not this shit again. Okay, so we got a man like Lord Vishnu. Yeah. Now we had a little bit of a technical difficulty where we missed a lot of stuff. So was talking about his time in prison and the different prisons he went to, and for the various offences that he was committed in his younger years. Do you want to elaborate?
Yeah, so basically, from between 15 and 25, I just couldn't stay out of prison, bro. I was just in and out, in and out. Do you know what I mean? Just fucking, yeah. My friends call me 4-4 because I had 56 charges all at one
56.
go. Yeah, 56 charges at one go, and I bust 44 of them.
Seriously?
Yeah, I bust 44 of them. So,
what were they mostly for?
just various things, robberies, breaches of ASBO, just various things.
Yeah. Sorry, let me just. Okay, cool. I'm just had to go and mess around with something. Yeah. So what was I going to say? So we were back to talking about the prison dynamics. We was talking about how the prison population became an increase in the Islamic population, basically. We were discussing earlier. Was this something you witnessed when you were inside, or was it something that was just beginning?
I mean, it wasn't like the dominant force at the time, but it was when I started going to prison, it was just really catching up.
Yeah.
And by the time I left, I didn't really notice by the time I left, but too much. But from what I hear now, it is the dominant thing. But when I was in there, especially in the YOs, they were converting a lot of people.
Was it mostly black and white people that they were converting? Was it?
I want to say mostly black.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Because this is something that I like. This is something that I notice as well, because a lot of my friends that are like Caribbean background, they are Muslim. Do you know what I mean? Not all of them. Don't get me wrong. Not all of them converted in jail and things like that, because some of them are Muslim from like a Nation of Islam standpoint. You get me? But at the same time, I found a lot of the younger lot as well. I found a lot of the younger lot that were coming through as teenagers. They were starting to kind of veer towards Islam. Do you think that's a? Do you look at it as a positive or a negative?
Well, like I said, it's like I've said to you previously. It's a rebellion against the white man, is what it is. They see it as a rebellion against the white man.
Yeah. And you think
so? So I don't really know if it's a negative, it's a positive. Yeah. But I do understand that when they get together, they do have a very gang mentality.
Yeah.
Which is a negative.
Well, this is what I wanted to bring up, because don't get me wrong, a lot of the time, Islam does get criticism within the prisons, yeah? And a lot of the time, it is, like you said, people who have converted. So it's not necessarily people that have grown up with an Islamic upbringing. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you know what I mean? Like, because it's hard if you don't know the person's. Like, I think when people say Islam, it is a blanket statement, and it's like sometimes there's so many different types of Islam. Like, not types of Islam. There's so many different Muslims from all different backgrounds. So you have Nigerian Muslims, and sorry, my camera's gone down for some strange reason. Hold on, let me start
Yeah.
again. Yeah, my camera's being used by another app. Sorry, I don't know what's going on. Let me just close everything up. Sorry, man,
Yeah.
my computer's on one today. Let me just start closing some things because it's all a bit mad at the moment. Telling me I'm using apps that I'm not using. I think we found the problem here. All right, let's try again. Oh, here we go. All right, yeah. So
There we go.
a lot of the time, because what I find, yeah, say in Luton, yeah, people's problems with the Muslims, it stems from their problems with the Pakistanis. So the Pakistanis are blanketed as the Muslims in Luton, for instance. Now, the reasons why the initial that people can say about grooming gangs and they can say about terrorism and stuff, but you know, even that's a very small, that makes up for a very small percentage of the actual population that live in places like Luton, yeah. And what a lot of it is, because I grew up around there, a lot of it is that the Pakistanis have got the numbers. So, like you were saying with the Somalians, there comes strength in numbers. So when you got problems with, like in Luton, if you had problems with the Pakistanis, it was a long day for you. You know what I mean? It was a long day
Yeah.
because it ain't just you go here and there's an next batch of man onto you. So it's just one of them ones. So a lot of people, through a lot of people's frustration, they ended up Tommy Robinson probably being one of them. You know what I mean? I've heard, I don't know how true it is, but I've heard reports that Tommy Robinson, he got checked by a couple Asian man in Luton. They checked him like he was. I don't know how true this is because you know how people talk, but that's what they were saying. He
Yeah.
tried to do his thing on the roads and he got checked, and the Pakistanis wouldn't let him do his thing, and through that it grew into what he's doing now. Um, but I do understand like there is a unity amongst those who identify with Islam. Do you know what I mean? So it could,
And this is where I have a problem
yeah,
because we're humanity, right? We're all humanity, yeah. And we're supposed to be humanity. We're supposed to be all one,
yeah,
right? So, but they see it as they look out for their Muslim brothers.
yeah,
But Christians, we're not raised like that. Oh, that's my Christian
yeah,
brother. I've got to look out for him more just because he's Christian.
yeah,
You
yeah,
get
yeah,
me?
yeah, yeah,
We're not raised like that. If anything, if you're from another race or
yeah,
religion, we got to look out for you more, blood.
yeah, 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 yeah. Of course.
And this is where I have the problem. Like, it's very tribal. It's very tribal. It's very archaic.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's what I
But you got,
find about it. It's
but
very
what I
archaic.
found personally though, so what I find, I know some, I know some Muslims. Yeah, like I said, I grew up with Muslims. Like I could walk in the mosque with them, right? Um, and go to their yards. No, I never get no, I never had any of them try and convert me, and I've never had any of them try and make it a thing where I'm an outsider. You know what I mean? But then where I live in Devon now, innit? So I live in a
Yeah.
predominantly like I've lived in the southwest of England for a while. So it's predominantly white, you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
you might have people that identify with Christian, but I think a lot of them are only identifying with Christianity because it's in opposition to Islam. And really, religion isn't the thing because a lot of these people, they're not actually religious. They're not actually Christian. They just don't like the fact that these Asian or brown people or whatever that they see have got a religion that they all stand together in, and they don't like that. So they now they want, a lot of them want to be Christian, not because it's got anything to do with their faith. It's got everything to do with them trying to exert their identity and trying to put on a show of opposition to Islam, which which are fair enough if it was genuine and it was based on, you know, concern and wanting to save people's souls. I can understand, but from what I see in like Speaker's Corner and in sorts of places, it is more just another way of, it's, you know, like really and truly, there's a lot of racists within that, using the Christianity thing, and when they get rid of the Muslims, or you know, when they finish targeting the Muslims, they tend to just go on to the next. Do you know what I mean? They tend to go on to the next person who looks like they're not from here and target them as well.
Well, when I first moved to Hayes, it was very racist.
Yeah.
You couldn't walk past. We couldn't walk past the pub without fighting the whole pub.
Yeah.
So I understand. I've been through that fighting the white guys, bro.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Even when the war with the Muslims got intense, I had to move to Bournemouth for a summer.
Yeah.
So I came back. I moved to a place called Harefield, somewhere in Hillingdon
I know
Borough,
Harefield, nice place. But yeah, I get you.
So they ended up beating me up. They ended up running me over and smashing me in.
Boy.
Because they thought I was Muslim.
Seen.
So I've seen the dark side of how the whitey is.
Yeah.
But it's nothing compared to how these Muslims move, bruv. They're very militant and very radicalized. See, the white man, he fights because he likes to fight.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But the Muslims, they're fighting for, they do it all in the name of Allah. You get me?
Yeah, but I don't know. It's a bit of a. I think. Yeah. For instance, right, the boys I used to roll around with. Yeah. Don't get me wrong. If you diss their people, they're coming for you. But I wouldn't say religion was their motivation. It was, if anything, don't get me wrong, their identity, they're obviously where they're from, Pakistan, but it weren't so much like, we didn't really have, don't get me wrong, in them days, we weren't even that, none of us were even that focused on religion to even get into an argument over beliefs. You understand? Obviously, we knew they were Muslim. We knew it was their, you know what I mean? And they knew we was Christian or whatever. And that was it. That was literally it. We had no problems at all. It was never an issue.
Now, I'm not going to lie to you. The majority of my friends, even my elders, are all Muslim.
Yeah.
I think I only got one older that's Christian. They're all Muslim.
Yeah.
So I got like 5 elders and only one of them's Christian. You get me?
Yeah.
So even if they were to hear me say this shit, they would be surprised, bro.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? They'd be surprised. But they never had no hatred towards me. But I've seen it on the roads how the hatred manifests.
Yeah.
Especially in the last 10, 15 years. They've decided that they're going to take the roads, they're going to take the prison system. See, what they do is they use the Malis to take the roads and they use the Asians to take the corporate world.
But are they all working together, though? Is the thing? Are they?
This is what I'm trying to say to you, yeah? It's a hive mind.
Yeah.
They don't need... This is the difference between the whiteys and the Asians.
Yeah.
The whites need to speak to each other to get organized.
The problem is, the problem, what I see with the white British people is they've got caught up in their feelings. Yeah, so they need to focus on what the Asian man's been doing in a lot of cases, and focus on the economy and focus on supporting, just like black people, bro. Like in many ways, I see white people in England and black people got the same problem. Yeah, and the same problem is the reason why, like you mentioned earlier, a lot of them are gravitating towards religions that aren't followed by their parents, because a lot of them have got the same. It's got the same issue. There's not a lot of self-investment. You understand? And a lot of the times, you know, we got people talking about they want to Britain for Britain. You know, they love Britain so much, but a lot of these people, like you got to, for instance, here, you wouldn't. In a lot of cases, a Chinese man, if he saw an ex-Chinese man on the street homeless begging, he might just say, you know what, his approach probably different. He'd probably say, you know what, he probably talk to him. What's the problem? Do you see what I'm saying? These are the levels of engagement that we don't have in our communities where we genuinely want to help each other. And because we genuinely don't want to help each other, the help doesn't get. And the people that are willing to help each other, the people that are willing to work together, they're going to do better in anything, even if it's something illegal. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
you know, us man, look at the Yardies. They've been selling crack in London for how long? But the Yardies couldn't work together. The Yardies started big drug wars all over London. Bare people got deported. Bare people got locked up. Bare people got killed.
Yeah.
So this is why a more organized set of man have to move in. You know what I mean? And that's really when it comes down to.
Well, um, well, this is what I was saying. This is what, back to my point I was making, was that Asians don't need to talk to each other to
Of
move
course,
together. They just know this is what we have to do and this is what it is.
yes, of course,
You know what I mean? That's why they do so well, because they don't have to communicate. Communication is, in a way, is a weakness if you have to communicate by
yeah,
mouth. If you communicate
yeah,
telepathically, which is what
yeah,
Asians do, then you can get
yeah,
further. And I feel like that's why Asians are getting further now, because they don't have to necessarily speak to each other to understand what the end game
of
is.
course, because they self-identify. Black people do, like black people, even though we have an identity, we don't really self-identify because a lot of us, before you know it, we're going here, we're going there. Do you know what I mean? And the same with English people. English people, as much as they can wave the flag around, they don't really self-identify to the point of the only time you really see them self-identifying is when they're having a march or something. But that's not the way the self-identifying. You need to do it on a level of like, okay, support each other's businesses. You get me? Help each other up. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Employ each other, employ your friends' children, get them a job, you know what I mean? Get them off the streets, go out your way, make sure your youngsters ain't hanging out on the road. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
In a lot of communities, you got uncles and aunties that will go and tell your parents that you're in the streets doing some bullshit. Do you know what I mean? So this is the thing, the community is broken down. So this is where Islam offers people a sense somewhere something to belong to with real
But it's
structure.
fake.
Huh?
But it's fake. The thing is, it's fake. It's fake, bro. It's fake. I feel like if you're born into it, if your
Yeah,
family's all Muslim, then I understand. Then I
yeah,
understand. Because
yeah,
even with me, I'm raised Christian, so I understand the brainwashing behind it.
yeah.
When you think about your religion, you think about your family. Do you know what I
100%.
mean?
Yeah,
So that's what it is. That's why you believe in it so much, because you believe in your family. You get me?
yeah, 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 yeah. But with me, like, so my grandparents on my Dominican side, yeah, they're Catholic, yeah. Now, I
Yeah.
don't obviously I'm not a Catholic. If someone was to sit there and blaze fire on Catholicism, it wouldn't offend me in the slightest. Even though
Yeah.
it's part of my identity, I can I can take out and obviously even Christianity. If someone wants to come here and criticize the Christian church, I'm not gonna I'm not gonna take it personally. Do you see what I'm saying?
But I don't think Christians do. Christians are so not like they're so secure in their faith. They don't even care, because you got to think Jesus gets gunned all the
Yeah,
time. Jesus, look at South Park. South Park has made a fucking Jesus character that takes the
yeah,
piss. So I mean, Jesus gets taken the piss out of all the time, but Christians are so secure in their religion that they will just laugh at it.
yeah. It's true.
You know what I mean? Christians are more secure in their religion, but
Yeah.
that's just that, innit? You know what I mean? If someone was banning Christianity in front of me, I wouldn't even care either, because I know what I believe. You know what I mean? But me, I've named myself Lord Vishnu because that's how I escaped the white man.
Yeah,
Because I understand that my family was enslaved to become Christians.
yeah, yeah.
I'm not really Christian. I'm Hindu because I'm Indian.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Do you know what I mean? So that's why, because my real name's Ashley. My real name isn't
yeah,
Vishnu.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So this is how I essentially escaped the white man. I changed my name to Krishna Vishnu
Yeah.
to come back to my Indian roots.
Yeah, I see.
But I still believe in Jesus. I do still believe in Jesus. And this is what I'm saying with the brainwashing is so deep. Even though I know it's wrong, I still believe in Jesus.
Yeah.
Even though I know I should be believing in Vishnu.
Well, it's, you know what it is? It's like they are two different paths, isn't it? So, and it is one of them ones where it is quite hard having, because I got a friend whose mum's a Hindu and his dad's a Christian, and he still incorporates both of these. Do you know what I mean? So there's certain things he won't do because of his Hinduism, because of his Hindu. But not to say that he's like a devout Hindu, but just out of respect to his Indian side. Do you know what I mean? Even though he's been raised Christian and he, you know what I mean, his understanding is probably more Christian than anything.
Yeah. Yeah, but that's what I say. The brainwashing is deep, bro. The brainwashing is deep, bro. And when people break out of the brainwashing, which they can't, which is very hard to do, that's when they will become free. Because you need to free yourself from religion. Religion is a slavery in itself.
I agree. But I think what it is people have taken texts, which religious text, they've used them for religion instead of using them for information, and they've turned them into something. So rather than getting understanding out of it, people, I don't know, they get some sort of like, I don't know, it's like imaginary. I wouldn't want to say imaginary because I don't know in it, but people get something out of it, like it gives them some sort of hope, I guess. And the religion gives them structure. Because I've always found, that I was having this conversation today, and I found that when people say they're spiritual, it doesn't actually really mean anything, because it just means that they have.
It means they like to get high.
Basically, you know, like to take shrooms, like to get high, and that's it. And even I was one of them people. You know, I'm spiritual, but really, that was just all I was really saying. It was, I am not trying to follow any rules or order. You get me? And that's how I was living. So even though, because I grew up in a Christian, and do you know what it was? I was always trying to escape the brainwashing from day one. From day one, I was not one of them people kids that went to church and enjoyed it and sang along and clapped my hands. I was at the back, doing something else, reading magazines, writing lyrics. Like I was somewhere else in my brain. You know what I mean? I never wanted to be there. So even though I grew up hearing all the information, I didn't get sucked in like that. So for me, I could understand, like when I see a Muslim person, for instance, who's been following it and studying it and reasoning with other Muslims and getting an understanding of his beliefs, I can get it. You know what I mean? It doesn't. I don't see it like a contradiction to how I'm. Like, I got a couple Muslim friends, and I don't see it like the way they're living. Like to be, in all honesty, they probably living more holy than me. In the eyes of God, they're probably living more holy than I am. You know what I mean? So I don't know, but it's still interesting to hear because you know what I originally thought because I originally thought you were Sikh, because I know Sikh people and Muslims have got a thing going back. Do you know what I mean? They've got a history. You know what I mean? They've got a history, and I got Sikh friends here, and it's like, you know what I mean? They're very well aware of their origins, of how they come about, and very proud people.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Don't play games.
Yeah.
So but yeah, what is it? The Christians? How are they treated in India? And are there do they get any problems from the Hindus or the Muslims?
From what I understand, like my family's fine. My family, they live in the bend. They live in the proper fucking villages and that, bruv. You know what I mean? So they don't seem to have no trouble. But from what I understand, they don't like the Christians. From what I understand, but my family's doing fine out there. Yeah, but from what I understand, they don't like.
It's not as bad as in Pakistan, for instance.
Nah, it's not nearly as bad. It's not nearly as bad. No. India's more liberal. India is a lot more liberal.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not like China or I don't know, Pakistan, I guess. It's not like those countries. It's a lot more liberal when it comes to religion.
Definitely. You know what I mean? What else was I going to say? So even back to your music. So you were talking about you was fighting the system and that. Is this something that you've taken into your music as opposed to fighting the screws? And you get me?
The thing about being a grime MC, this is the special thing about being a grime MC. You automatically become a junglist. You know what a junglist is, right?
Yeah.
Of course. So the junglist massive is, well, our current defense is supposed to be the drillers.
Yeah.
That's supposed to be our current defense. But they don't defend us. They just kill each other. But the junglist massive is our British defense. They are what is on the front line of what is against the government. And as a grime MC, you take that up. You take that. I'm not sure what the word is, but
you carry on. You carry on the torch. But I find, you know what I found, to be honest though, yeah, you know, a lot of the jungle MCs and a lot of the jungle generation, yeah. See, when it was the lockdown and that, they weren't really saying nothing. Even the grime MCs, they weren't really they weren't really.
I'm not saying that they do it, but this is the responsibility you're supposed to have. 100%.
100%.
But I'm not saying that they do actively do fight the system, because I don't think they do. I think most grime MCs are really quite simple people.
Of course.
Do you know what I mean? They're not very complex people, bruv. They're quite simple people, bruv. You know what I mean? What from what I've seen within the grime scene.
Yeah. They are.
You know what I mean? There's only one that I can say, and that's my boy Cryptic.
Yeah.
He's a proper fight power, go out there and do, you know what I mean? Do what you're doing. But other than that, I haven't seen any real freedom fighters besides Big H.
Yeah.
I haven't seen any other revolutionaries within the scene. But they're supposed to wake up and understand that they are the junglist massive.
Well, they are.
They're supposed to be fighting.
They're the voice of the youth, which is the voice of rebellion. And what, like you said, it's not being used for the right thing. It's being used to go to war against each other. I mean, whereas back in the day, it would have been like a South London massive, West London massive, all, you know what I mean? Link up. You know what I mean? It wouldn't have been no postcode beef. Do you know what I mean? So that, but these things get corrupted because they end up in the hands of the industry. They end up in the hands of the music industry.
Well, you know what? I wouldn't say as much as the music industry as much I would say America.
The American influence,
because it's the American influence that causes these things. Do you know what I mean? When we come out of the grips of the American system, that's when we can really concentrate on what the UK is supposed to do.
Yeah. But I think you see with British, I get what you're saying here, because you see with like British identity, it means different things to different people. Like with us, we grew up in London, so for us, we know we're talking about British. We talk about people from all backgrounds. Do you know what I mean? We're talking about people from all backgrounds, mixed race, half this, half that. Do you know what I mean? But a lot of people, their whole thing about British is white British. You see what I'm saying? So it's a thing where that's really what they're focused on. That's why I don't get into the whole Islam debates too much, because as much as there's all these different reasons, ultimately Muslims represent, like, the vast majority of Muslims are people of color. So if you was to boot out all the Muslims from the UK, you would get rid of a load of people of color. You know what I mean? Even if you had to boot out some white ones, a lot of these people wouldn't mind if they went as well. So That's the motivation more than anything. You see what I'm saying? And that's really
Yeah.
their motivation. Don't get me wrong, because my dad, right? My dad is a preacher, innit? So my dad is a theologian. So my dad's the sort of person, you know what I mean? I grew up with him having theological debates with Muslims, with imams and things like that. Do you know what I mean? Like my dad would sit down and, do you see what I'm saying? But different to what you get now, what we're getting now is like a lot of it's more like attacks in it. So it's more like Muslims are doing this, Muslims are this, you know, terrorism, grooming. You know what I mean? Just typical media, like headlines. But that's more what you're getting now.
But this is the thing. It's not typical media headlines, because when you go to the typical media, they're backing the Muslims. It's the underground media that's bringing these things to light. Like the grooming gang thing, no mainstream media still don't even want to touch that shit. Do you know what I mean? It's the underground media that are bringing the Muslim shit to light, bro.
Yeah, but aren't they exaggerating it to basically get a pass for a lot of British people that have been caught? You know what I mean? A lot of English people that have been, because remember, they make up the majority, even by their own admission. They make up the majority, and the stats that they got off the Muslims was stats over 12 years. So they got 12 years of data and put that information out there. The actual amount of sexual assault that's happened is a lot higher than all of that, and it's been happening. And that's just they've put 12 years together. Within 1 year, the stats are higher than that. I haven't got them at hand, but I was me and my friend was looking at this a few months ago. So a lot of it, this is what I'm saying, isn't it? A lot of it, if it was coming from a genuine place, then fair enough. But a lot of it, it's like, look at these guys doing what they're doing, and then before you know it, a lot of these guys have been getting caught doing this, that, and the other, and I've got these sorts of charges on their name. And it's like, hold on a minute, they don't want to hold them to account. And I'm not saying, and what I'm saying, like, everybody should be held to account. Do you know what I mean? So at the end of the day, it shouldn't even be a case of Muslim grooming gang. It's like, if you're out there for the nonces, we're getting them all, white, black, Asian, whoever. You know, even, do you know what I mean? Because really, the nonce has more in common with the nonce of a different race than in a lot of cases with his own people. Do you know what I mean?
But the danger is, this is the danger with these Pakistani grooming gangs. They do it in the name of Allah, which other nonces aren't doing. This is the difference.
How have they got any evidence of this?
Because, let me, for example, that Rangres. Have you heard of that Rangres restaurant?
Where is that?
In Hammersmith.
Oh, okay. I don't think I've heard of it.
So basically, this guy was selling non-halal meat. The Muslims turned up to his establishment, started bullying him and that, you know what I'm saying? And they even rang him and said, we're going to take your daughter with our grooming gangs. So even they understand that the grooming gang thing is their thing.
Yeah. Well, is that the Sikh guy that at his restaurant? Yeah,
that's the one.
I don't know too much about that. I've only had a little glimpse, and like, so forgive me if I get anything wrong from what I do know or don't know about the situation. But from what I've heard, he was already into it with the Muslims. He was already into it. He was already going back and forward online with them. And
all right, cool. All right, whether that's
I'm not saying, I'm definitely not condoning them threatening his daughter, and the fact that someone threatened his daughter, I don't blame him for for preparing to defend himself. You know, you understand?
But the fact that they said we're gonna take a daughter for grooming gangs with our grooming gangs shows that they know the grooming gang thing is their thing.
Well, yeah. Well, you know, they know it will get a response, I guess. But you don't know who made the phone call. It could have been some kids. You know what I mean? It could have been some kids.
Didn't sound like a kid. It didn't sound like a kid.
No, I'm not saying. I'm not condoning what they said.
Make is with grooming gangs. They do it in the name of Allah. It's a warfare. It's a warfare for them.
And who?
That's why they only target white girls.
Yeah.
Because they believe that basically they're joining the winning team, innit? They're on the winning team because right now the Arabs are winning because the Arabs have got all the money. The Arabs have got all the oil. Do you know what I mean? So they feel like they're on the winning team. So they feel like them white girls are the spoils of war, essentially.
Do you think it goes that deep with it? See, to my understanding, I just see it as because like I said, even when I was in Luton, yeah, there was some. We were younger, you know what I mean. There was still, you know what I mean, some older creepy individuals lurking around. Yeah. Now these are like they, you know, they were of probably like Pakistani origin, yeah, but they were very westernized, and I don't think these guys ever stepped foot in a mosque. You understand? So I don't know. Because you got to remember as well. This isn't something. This isn't something that we're seeing from devout Muslims, is it? We're not seeing devout. I know people that, you know, they're doing their prayers 5 times a day. In that, you know what I mean? They're not out there drinking. They're not out there smoking. They're not hanging with their mates. They're at home with their wife. Whatever it is they do, go to work. So this isn't devout Muslims, is it?
I mean, nah, you can't say they're devout Muslims. Obviously, devout Muslims are out there, innit? You know what I mean? Obviously, they are out there, bro. But they're far and few between, just like devout Christians. Yeah. You know what I mean? They're far and few between. You know what I mean? Like, for example, all Christians celebrate Christmas, but the rest of the year they're fucking about. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
So same with Muslims. Like, you have a few devout ones, but most of them are fucking about.
So it wouldn't be so much. It would be more culturally then. Would it be more cultural than based on religious ideology? Because you've got to think. No, but if he's doing it in the name of Allah, if he's doing it in the name of Allah, that would like for instance, yeah. I'm not gonna lie. Obviously, I believe in God. Yeah. Now, I can't remember ever doing something bad and doing it in the name of God. For me personally, if anything, I might have of like blocked the thoughts of God out for that particular period of time. But I don't know. So even if someone was like, don't get me wrong, if someone was doing something bad in the name of God, yeah, it would be more to do with the person's a sadist rather than it's a command or behavior of people who follow that religion.
Yeah, now I understand what you're saying. I fully understand what you're saying, but they are doing these things in the name of Allah, bro.
Sweet. Yeah,
they are. They are, bro. They just are, bro. Like, even this whole thing, they're taking over the roads, they're taking over the prison systems, they're taking over the corporate world. They're doing it in the name of Allah, bro.
Well, I get that. So I seen a post about the Muslim mayors, the amount of towns that had Muslim mayors. And I think it might have even been an American thing. And they were going, look, all these towns have got Muslim mayors. And my whole thing was, okay, yeah, fair enough. They've got Muslim mayors. But then at the end of the day, we're in the UK. We're in an equal opportunities country where if 20 Muslims did want to work their way up to become mayors, there shouldn't be anything really to stand in their way. And I think in a lot of cases, this is what's happening. A lot of the times, people are working hard and getting what they want. And yeah, fair enough. There is a bit of nepotism and there is a bit of, okay, cool. You know, a next fellow Asian guy trying to come up, let me give him a, you know what I mean? The same way I might even be inclined to help a next young black guy that is coming through if I was in that position. But ultimately, the way it's made to sound is like an Islamic takeover. Do you know what I mean?
And it is. And it
Would
is.
you class someone like Sadiq Khan as an Islamist, though? Or just
I don't know too much about him, bro. But I think, I mean, I see Keir Starmer, he's always up the Muslims' arse. But Sadiq Khan, he's just gonna do what he's gonna do. Like recently, he just done that prayer thing in Trafalgar Square.
I think so. That? Yeah, I think. Yeah, I did actually with the Muslim prayer.
Yeah, now, I have no problem with that. If they're celebrating the eating, obviously Britain is a multicultural society. You know what I mean? Like, if they want to go, if Sadiq Khan wants to take his people to go do their prayers, there's nothing wrong with that, bro. I mean, I saw a lot of people had problems with it. I don't know why they got a problem with it.
Yeah.
But I think Sadiq Khan, the people above Sadiq Khan, because they're in Arab pockets, they're in Arabs have got them by the balls. And that's why we're seeing so many fucking Muslim mayors come to power.
Yeah.
Because the Arab money is what's really controlling Britain.
So, because this is what a lot of the fears of the far right are saying. And they're saying, look, it's going to be a complete takeover. And we're going to have Sharia law in England. And
no, I don't think it'll go that far. I don't think it'll go that far. But
is it?
No, I don't think it'll go that far.
Do you think it? Do you think it's got anything to do with was it Gordon Brown? Was it Gordon Brown? David. One of them. David Blunkett. One of them. Yeah, I think it was even Gordon Brown. He sold off half of the British economy gold reserves. He sold half of it off to the Middle East. So do you think that's the direct link from that? That's a direct consequence of that.
Well, that's what I'm trying to say. They have Britain by the balls. You know what I mean? And these Muslims understand that. They understand that Britain is not Britain anymore. It's not the same what it was before. You know what I mean? The Arabs are running the world right now. As much as they make it look like America runs the world, it's really the Arabs that are running shit. Because they own everything. They own all these big companies. They own all these fucking football teams. They own the boxing thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I think, I hear what you're saying. Do you think, like, as far as, we know, like, central London's always had Arab ownership in a lot of things. Like, Harrods is owned by Al Fayeds and stuff like that. And they've historically been in London for a long time, that family. And even that part of London, historically, Arabs have always had a hold over it, you know what I mean? But ideologically wise, do you think they're interested in pushing, like, don't get me wrong, because me personally, I've got no problem with open your mosque, have your mosque. You know, people complain about it. I don't see no one in the churches. Where I live, there's loads of churches. Like, literally, where I live, I can see a church there. There's another church there. There's a church there. Do you know what I mean? I can see various churches and nobody goes in them. And that's cool as well. I'm not bothered either way. But for me, it's like, cool. If someone wants to have their mosque, and hold on a minute, let me just, get down. Oi, you, get down. Sorry, man, dogs, man. So, you know, the way I look at it, you know, like, I spent a lot of time in Whitechapel when I was in London. Do you know what I mean? I used to have to be in Whitechapel all the time. And it was all, do you know what I mean? I never had no issues. I never had no funny vibes off anyone. I never had no, do you know what I mean? I've seen madness go on in that area. Do you know what I mean? But I've never been singled out. And like I said, I was there twice a week for about 12, 13 years. You know what I mean? So, but I don't know, innit? People's experiences are different. That's why it's good to speak to different people, because some people have had a different experience. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right. And
I mean, I grew up in Southall, which is a mainly Asian area, so I understand. Like I said, I understand how Asians think.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So I understand what they're doing, why they're doing it, all this and that. You know what I mean? But it's the main thing they rely on is the dumb whites.
Yeah.
Because the dumb whites are always going to be like, oh, we need to be inclusive. Yeah. They don't understand that these people are trying to take over.
Do you think it's a genuine takeover?
Yeah, it's a genuine takeover. But it is. But
what about the ones? So what about the ones here? So the people that are like Asians born in the UK from, say, between the 60s and the 80s, 90s, yeah? Are these people in on it as well? Or is it a whole, like you said, the understanding where you know what I mean, without having to speak. Is it one of them ones where everyone just knows what's up?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
They all know, bro.
yeah,
They all know.
yeah,
They all know, man. They, like I said, the Arabs right now have got Britain by the
yeah,
balls. So they are understanding that they are winning this war
yeah,
right now.
yeah, 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 yeah.
They understand they're winning this war right now. So
Yeah.
there's not much more that needs to be done, bro. They haven't taken over the whole of Britain, and I don't really think that can ever really actually happen. But they have certain areas, like if you look at high crime rate
Yeah.
areas, they're predominantly Muslim areas.
They are, but then you got to think a lot of like a high crime area, for instance, somewhere like Slough, yeah, Slough,
Yeah,
right? But then you got to
that's
think Slough
yeah,
it's close to the airport, is a lot of cheap accommodation, so people that are just getting on their feet, um, are going to move to areas like this. Now the crime's already been there because them areas have been rough from day dot. But a lot of the immigrants we're getting now, because even when the Polish and the Lithuanians were coming through, they were getting themselves in mix ups as well. Do you know what I mean? But a lot of
now, but they weren't really trying to. To be honest, I feel like Polish people kind of stick to themselves. They don't really do much. Like, look at the Chinese, for example. The Chinese don't fucking enforce their shit on everyone. You know what I mean? They just stay. You hardly see
yeah,
Chinese people.
I don't really feel like I said, from being around Muslims, I don't feel like they really like me personally, innit, I never felt pressured by a Muslim in my life to conform. You know what I mean? I've never felt pressured. I've never even been pressured to conform, or even I've got friends who are Muslim, and don't me and them, we sometimes have little debates. You get me? And we don't agree
Yeah,
theologically, yeah, we disagree on certain things, yeah. Um,
yeah,
but yeah, as far as nah, I don't have no like it's all good in it. I'm like, don't get me wrong, like this I find a lot of the things that we even arguing about, like we might be arguing about, like they believe Jesus is a prophet. I'm supposed to believe Jesus is the Son of God or Jesus is God, right? That's it. So not even something that deep, like, and something that I can accept. You know, if a Muslim says, you know what, Jesus is a prophet, I can accept that as well. I'm not going to be like, no, he's not.
yeah,
He's. It's like for me to even like, I have no issue with. Um, don't get me wrong. I'm not going to sit there and say I've studied the Quran to know and break down what's put in it. Do you know what I mean? I'm much more versed with the Bible. Um, However, from the Muslims I know, and even having conversations with them, good people. Do you know what I mean? And it's like anyone. Don't get me wrong. There's going to be, no matter who you bring in, yeah, there's always going to be messed up people in every community. Do you know what I mean?
yeah,
And I
yeah,
think,
yeah, yeah,
I
yeah,
don't know if it's a case of like maybe we need to take accountability for these things. So maybe, like, you know, I mean, if a Jamaican person does something, the Jamaican community should all just explain, especially since you're in someone else's country. Maybe it should be, you know what I mean? Maybe it should be a thing where, you know what, hold on a minute, you can't come to man's country and do a madness, and no one say nothing. But at the same time, a lot of these things, I hear a lot of people saying, "Oh, these people, you know, the Muslim community is not calling out these grooming gangs and this and that." But in most cases, they don't know what's going on. You know what I mean? Just like I don't know what people in my community, what fucked up things they're doing. I don't really know what they're doing either. If I hear about it, in most cases it's usually too late. Then I'll say, yeah, okay, cool. But in a lot of cases, it's not that simple. You know what I mean? And then also you got to remember as well, especially in these kind of communities, people don't like living with, you know what I mean, like when things that bring shame to the family, people don't like talking about it as well. So even that's a cultural thing which, you know, you can't expect people to, you know, when, you know what I mean, especially when the parents come from a different country, live a completely different way, keep their head down, and then their kids do something crazy. Do you know what I mean? It's the last thing parents need. They just want to get on with what they're doing. So this is the thing. It's not always the community is complicit, and you understand, because I've never known of anybody who's been complicit to that and admitted it. You know what I mean?
I mean, like I said, I've got quite a few elders, and they're all Muslim, and even I've got friends that are Muslim, and we've never even had not one debate about this shit. We never even spoke about this shit.
Yeah.
But like I said, they would be surprised to hear me say some of the things I'm saying.
Do you think they would be shocked? Do you think they'd be shocked?
Yeah, they'll be like, "What the fuck is he going on about?" You know what I mean? Like, he knows we ain't like that. But like, there's stuff I want to tell you, but I can't say it publicly because it could get me murked. You know what I mean? But man's been out there in the battlefield. Man's seen even look at, even in drill they talk about it. In drill, there's that song "Beef with the Marley."
Yeah. Of course. Yeah.
You heard that song?
Beef the one County Lines tune. Frosty. Is that a County Lines tune? Frosty.
Nah. It's a different tune. But there's a song called "Beef with the Marleys," and you know what I mean. Like, it's all I'm gonna say. It's a real thing, man. They're here to dominate, bro. They're here to dominate, and they everyone knows what's going on, but they just don't really want to address the situation. You know what I mean? Because they know they're winning. They know as long as they keep winning, it's fine. And Arabs, they control Britain. They know they're on the winning team. And I would like to move on to a different subject.
No, I don't mind. We did. That was a good little. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, man, we'll come on. But so basically, musically, how long have you been releasing music?
Well, I've only been releasing for the past 5 years.
Okay,
actually.
fair enough.
For the past 5 years, I've only been really releasing songs. I've been doing more networking scene. I did used to have a clothing line called Royalty Made in London, and that was pretty big. We've been on P110, we've been on Link Up TV, we've been on all the big channels. So I did have a clothing line at one time that was pretty successful, and I was running it with a guy called Max Profit.
I have.
If you ever heard of him. Yeah, I was running it with a guy called Max Profit. And we were doing well, but somehow it just fizzled out. And yeah, so then we just continued on the music path, which me, GHS, and Max Profit generally work together to achieve our goals. We have another guy called MC Flight in the DMB scene that we fuck with sometimes. He takes us places.
This guy, man. Yeah, man.
Yeah. So MC Flight takes us a few places.
Yeah.
So I've just been releasing for the past 5 years. I have one more song I'm trying to release, but I'm just trying. The idea is not mine. It's called The Detox. It's by a guy called The Detox. As you can tell by the name, The Detox.
Yeah.
So it's his idea. It's a dance. It's a dance song. It has a dance.
Yeah.
But I have to ask his permission to really release it first. So that's going to be the next release. I've just released something called Why Solace. Which it's not really a deep tune, but it's an all right tune. My main song that I put a lot of my time into is something called The Terror Chats.
Yeah.
And that explains the fight with the government and the fight with the Muslims.
Yeah, okay.
In that song, that really goes more into depth about there was some murders that happened as well, which I don't really want to get into because I don't want to make myself a target again.
Yeah.
But and how at that time I was really high up on the gang list. I was like probably in the top 50.
Yeah.
Of gang members at the time. And everywhere I was going, the police were following me.
Yeah.
I actually spoke to my probation because I was on probation. I can't remember if I was on license or on probation at the time.
Yeah.
No, I wasn't even on probation. I just had to ring my probation and find out what the fuck was going on.
Yeah.
why was I getting followed all these places? And my probation told me, look, right now you're under huge investigation.
Yeah.
So you need to be careful. Because I was supposed to go overseas and do a few things overseas. And I didn't really want to go if I was getting watched like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
So, yeah. So musically, just been releasing the past 5 years and got this new one I'm trying to release.
Mm.
Yeah, but really, I've been pouring more. I like to say I've been watching my children do the work.
Okay, yeah, man. Yeah, yeah,
I've been more just watching my children do the work
yeah,
in West London,
yeah.
and just enjoying what they're doing. Really, yeah, because I kind of lost the spark of writing bars. I don't know what happened. I can't really memorize my bars anymore. I can't really write too much either. You know what I mean? So I've been watching my children do the work now.
Yeah.
And just enjoying what they do.
Yeah. That's it, man. Well, the younger generation, they're the ones who are going to carry the torch anyway, man. Do you know what I mean? They're the ones who you got to show just show them the door to walk through, innit? And they'll carry it on anyway.
Yeah.
That's where I'm at, man. I'm like, you know what? I'm here to just let the next generation come through. You know what I mean? I ain't bothered about, you know what I mean? I've done my little thing. You get me? And now I just want to, like, anyone else who's got talent, wants to push their talent, that's what I'm on, pushing other people.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? But yeah, man, like, I got a compilation I'm putting together, man. So if you wanna put any tracks on there, let me know, innit? Because yeah, man, I think as well, like, even for yourself, yeah, there's still room for, like, you see artists that have had the exposure and have got the quality music. So there's still room for a lot of exposure. Do you see what I'm saying? So, like, me myself, I've been trying to push my music for years. You know what I mean? I'm not that fussed. You know what I mean? I've got steady Spotify streams. Do you know what I mean? That were all right. So, but yeah, man, it's all about pushing whoever's. Do you know what I mean? And not just who the mainstream are trying to push, because you know, how, like you said, the game is rigged, and you know how the mainstream, even on one extra various radio stations, there's only certain artists that they're pushing. Do you see what I'm saying? There's only certain artists, even within.
Who's the certain artist that they're pushing though?
Well, it's not necessarily certain artists, a certain type of artist, but like you pointed out earlier, don't get me wrong, guys can rap and the quality of the music's up. Do you know what I mean? But like you said, in terms of rebellion, being a voice of rebellion against the system, not really anyone. Do you see what I'm saying? Whether some of them are rebels in the real world, because I think some of them slyly are. Don't get me wrong, some of them slyly are, but it's not something that they're going to be putting in their music for now. Do you know what I mean? Right now, it's going to be what the demand is, and I think it's funny because I find that after 2020, that's when there was an explosion in that kind of music. That could have been the time where all grime artists, all drill artists started directing their frustrations and anger towards the government. Do you know what I mean? But I didn't really see it. Do you know what I mean? Only Black the Ripper, R.I.P. What's his name? K Coke. K Coke. He did a few. You know what I mean? He made a few references to things that were going on, but not many artists. Do you know what I mean? If anything, I found the artists embraced it more. They were like, "Yeah, we can get masked up," and some of them never took the mask off. So this is the thing, like, and like you said, the jungle scene, the original jungle scene was that. Do you see what I'm saying? If you're talking like the early 90s days, you see what I'm saying? That sort of movement, late 80s, early 90s, that was that, innit? But it just ended up, I guess, the American influence, the influence of American culture, when, you know what I mean? that kind of pushed it in a different direction.
Yeah, it's the American culture is it's a powerful thing, man. It's a powerful thing. It's what helps them fight their wars, bro.
I think with American culture, it's appealing to anybody who doesn't have a strong sense of culture at home. Do you know what I mean? And that's the same
Yeah,
with
yeah,
UK road culture. And the truth of the matter is, a lot of people are growing up in the UK, and this doesn't mean to say people should start putting on an England shirt and putting flags everywhere and painting roundabouts and that. Yeah, but where things have gone wrong for English people is they haven't even lost their culture because they still things that are do you know what I mean? So, but they've lost. I don't know what it is. It's almost like it's the sense of identity. They've lost a strong sense of identity. You know what I mean? And they kind of had it in the punk
yeah,
movement.
yeah,
It was there in the punk movement and all that. But in those days, that scene was heavily influenced by the ska from Jamaica and stuff anyway. So at the time, that whole Union Jack, it represented working class people, really, of of all backgrounds. Well, I
yeah,
would say all backgrounds actually, but you know what? They were still like very racist towards Asians in them days. Do you know what I mean? So as much as you'd be like, all right,
yeah.
they'd be all right with you if you're black, but there was still, yeah, there was still a lot of that. When I was growing up, there was a lot of that.
Khaki bashing and
So
that.
yeah, there was a lot.
Khaki
Do you
bashing
know
and
what it
that.
was? When I moved to Luton, there was a lot of open racism towards Asians. Like it wasn't even looked at like a. And it's mad because obviously I come from South London originally, where there weren't really in the 80s, 90s, there weren't many Asian people. Do you know what I mean? So when you got to Luton now, you had a lot of Asian people. And it was like in those days it was a bit segregated as well. Do you know what I mean? Because we had a lot of deaf kids in our school that were primarily all
Yeah,
Asian. So it was a bit of do you know what I mean? So there was already a barrier because we couldn't communicate with the deaf kids. You see what I'm saying? And it's
yeah,
like, um, and then obviously people would just talk a certain way and sing songs. It was just like a normalized thing. You know what I mean? But the same kids as they grew up, like we went to school with a lot of Pakistani guys. You get what I mean? That some of them we got on with, some of them we didn't. But there was always ones we got on with. Do you know what I mean? Ugh,
yeah.
I don't know what-
I mean, my high school was very, very multicultural. You had bare immigrants in there. You had Afghans, you had Somalis, you had Indians, you had
Yeah,
Pakistanis. It was the white people were kind of rare, to be honest, in my school,
I can
in my
imagine.
high school, and my primary school. Forget about it. In Southall, there was no
Trust me.
whites.
Trust me. I like Southall though, but Southall
Yeah,
is rough, man. It is a
yeah. Southall is
it,
quite.
well,
It is a ghetto. It is a ghetto.
Southall's rough, man.
It is.
Very, yeah,
Yeah, it is a
it's
ghetto.
been rough.
Still, I'm glad my parents got us out of
Mm.
there, bro.
But they had to back it, bruv. Remember the National Front come down there back in the day? National Front tried
Yeah,
to fucking slide on Southall, bruv. Yeah, and that was legendary, bruv.
yeah,
That fucking driving out was legendary. People still talk about it to this day, bruv. People come out, bruv. Like the community come out in force and defended the area. So in a lot of times when people are saying, "Oh, all these people started," a lot of the times they were forced to create their own communities from racism. Do you know what I mean? And at the end of the
yeah,
day,
yeah, yeah,
what
yeah,
people have to
yeah.
understand, yeah, in Britain, yeah, it doesn't matter what anyone says, they've got no interest in stopping racism anytime soon. Yeah, whether it be over, whether they think it, whether they say it, there will always going to be people here that are going to defend it. So as long as people defend it in this country, they can't really blame people for banding together and and the best thing for them to do is not be racist. The least racist you are, the more people will integrate. So even someone from a different culture, like I said, we know people here who are from Egypt, who are integrated within the community. And you
Yeah.
understand? And so in a lot of cases, like I said, I know people, I know black people who keep themselves to themselves in wherever
Yeah.
in a city London, because in their point of view is, oh, out of London's racist. Do you see what I'm saying? And it's like, well, I don't really
Yeah.
think it's that bad. Do you know what I mean? I don't think anywhere's that bad. Do you know what I mean? But I think a lot of the time, do you know what I think though? I don't even think it's. I think the biggest problem in the UK when it comes down, because when it comes down to all this, like people predicting civil war and all this stuff, yeah, I don't hear any Pakistanis saying
Yeah.
that. I don't see no Muslims saying that. I don't even.
Because the war's already
Yeah, but
happened, bro. The
I'm
war
hearing
already took
people talking
place.
about they want to initiate violence on the street.
But the violence has already happened,
Yeah,
bro.
well, they
Everyone's
want to go
tired
out.
of it
Well,
now.
yeah, so yeah, so it's only English people that I'm hearing saying, it's coming soon. It's like they're gearing themselves up in it. So I'm thinking if it does kick off, would it, like the way they're making it out is like a mob of Muslims is going to start attacking, but realistically, it's more likely going to be the other way around. Do you know what I mean? It'll more likely
Yeah,
be
yeah, yeah, yeah.
drunken guys outside the pub, come out the pub, let's go and find one and just kick the nearest person's head in, who probably turn out not to even be a Muslim. Do you know what I mean? So
Yeah, well, like I said, bro, I grew up having to. We grew up having to
yeah,
fight these
yeah,
pubs, bro. You know what I mean?
no,
It's. I remember that. Yeah, I remember we used to walk past pubs. They used to
yeah.
shout "nigger," used to shout "packy," then we had to fucking engage in battling the whole fucking pub, bro. You know what I mean? So I've seen it, bro. I've seen how, like I said, I've seen how they can get, bro. I've seen how they can get, man. Like I said, I was attacked in Harefield because they thought I was
Yeah,
Muslim, and when I got on the phone to them and told them who I was, they was like, "Oh shit, we fucked
idiots.
up, bro." Do you know what I mean? And I told them I was
Yeah.
Christian. They were like, "Oh my days."
Mm. Do you know
Yeah, I
South
mean,
Oxy? You must know South Oxy.
nah, I don't.
You know Northwood, innit? Northwood.
Northwood Hills.
Yeah. So Northwood is down the road from Harefield, and
Yeah,
South
yeah, yeah.
South Oxy is down the road from Northwood. Right. So that's where I lived as well. And South
Okay,
Oxy is like a proper BNP area. Yeah.
okay.
But it's not like where Northwood and Harefields are a bit more up middle class sort of nice areas.
Yeah.
South Oxy's more council estate. Do you know what I mean?
All right.
That was that place was like how you was explaining with the pubs. That's how it was there. So it was constant fighting, bruv. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Continuous fighting. You know what I mean? Like even to the point now, even years later, 20 odd years later, it doesn't even fighting is just like second nature, because it's just like you walk out your door, you walk around the corner, someone says something, you're in a fight. Do you know what I mean? And that's just your average day.
Yeah.
But it's changed. I was up there, when was it? About a year ago, and it's changed. Now the area is multicultural. I just
Yeah.
saw Asian and African people walking around. So
Okay.
you know what I mean? Things change.
It's just an era. It's just an
So
era thing, isn't it? It's like whatever you grow up in, then you witness certain things in each era.
yeah, yeah. No, I hear that. I hear that.
You know what I mean? So I was fortunate enough to witness that white man bit because I got youngers that never even seen that life. You know what I mean? Of the white man. They
Cool.
they they just all they know is that the road's always been just fucking us, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, this is what it is. I think they haven't been put in a situation where they're forced to self-identify. Do you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
you'll self-identify when you got a load of BNP people wanting to smash your head in. You'll self-identify with the next person whose head they want to smash in, whether it be the next black. Because where I used to live, I had a Pakistani friend, a friend from Antigua, another guy from I think it was Trinidad. Do you know what I mean? Just a mix of another mixed race guy, just a mix of people who the locals would look at as outsiders, and we ended up linking up. So you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I think nowadays we ain't got that. So because we ain't got that, we're not looking at it like when I moved to Watford. right? I had beef with all these people, yeah, but there weren't many black people in the area. You understand? I've linked
Yeah.
up with a couple Asian man from West Watford who were also beefing with the same people. Do you see what I'm saying? So it forced
Yeah.
us to, you know what I mean? We couldn't walk around like nowadays. People go, I don't see color. That wasn't a realistic approach because we could walk around
Yeah.
like, oh, I just it is what it is because we might not care. Like, I don't care about the next person's ethnicity at all, but doesn't mean that someone else doesn't, and someone else, some it's so complex because someone might have a problem with you because you're Muslim, and that's his problem, and he's okay if you're Hindu, but some people might be like, actually, you know what? I've got a problem with you because you're Asian, or I've got a problem with you because you're foreign, or because you wasn't born here, or because it's just, the list just goes on. You can't win. You can't win. And then when they finish
Yeah.
attacking everyone else, then they turn on all right, the Polish. Do you know what I mean? And then it's like, where? That's why I don't really like getting into these things too much because it don't stop nowhere. You know what I mean? Then it just
Yeah.
turn. Then we just turn on each other. Do you know what I mean? So it's just humans' desire to just have conflict.
Still, yeah. Nah, hey, still. I mean, it's it's the primal and tribal part of the brain, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just it's very tribal. But I feel like nowadays, because it has changed a lot. I feel like nowadays white people are very inclusive. They're not as racist as they were. They're very inclusive now.
I think what I think. Do you know what it is? I think English people have always been inclusive, but I think over time they've been encouraged to tone down some of their um ways, and you know what I mean, like even just using words like packy shops and things that were just normal, things like half a
Yeah,
glass.
when I go down south, they do say packy shops, and they say it in front of me, and I do
Mm,
feel a bit awkward when they say that
you
packy
get me?
shop, and I'm just like,
And
that's a bit
that was
mad.
very
Still,
common in
that's
South
a
London back in the day. And if you speak to a few older, I've got a few elders that I know who still say it now because they're set in their ways. Do you know what I mean? So
yeah,
um it's a bit of a weird one. Because with me, I'm not like a big fan of the whole civil rights thing, yeah, the whole civil rights movement in it.
yeah,
Obviously, there was flaws in the whole thing. So what they got people to do, they got people to worry about. Don't get me wrong, they got people in their feelings, and they got people worried about being accepted and stuff like that, rather than focus on ownership and. Do you see what I'm saying? That side of things, and after that, a lot of after the civil rights went through, and all you had the family breakdowns in America, a lot of things went wrong. So I'm not. Do you know what I mean? There's good things about it. Don't get me wrong, but I'm not one of them people that's like doesn't see the bigger picture in these things. You know what I mean? Because there's always a
yeah.
motive. It's never done out of the goodness of anyone's heart. So,
Still,
yeah, man.
yeah.
It's
What you say? Shall we end it
yeah,
there?
man. We can do, man. It's been a good one, still. You know,
Yeah,
it's
nah, I
been a
hear it. Still,
yeah,
thanks for
man.
having me on,
Thank
bro.
you, man. You know what it is? You see, I was doing a season 2, yeah. You set it off, man. You set it
Yeah.
off, and I can't be more grateful. Um, but yeah, we'll keep in touch anyway, because on the music front, you know what I mean. I got some things I'm trying to get people involved in anyway. So yeah,
All
yeah,
right.
man. Much respect for that, and I'll make some cool clips for this as well, bro. So
All
yeah,
right.
all right,
Say no
love my
more,
bro.
my G.